Good afternoon. Welcome to our Easysoft Online Legal Software webinar. My name is Heather O'Brien. I am the Product Support Specialist here at Easysoft. I'm going to be doing an overview of our software today, showing you some ins and outs, some integrations we have, and the forms you'll be able to print out for your closing disclosure and your HUD. Currently, we're on our login screen. You'll want to make sure that you always go to easysoftonline.com. Make sure that you don't end up back at the registration screen. When you log in, you'll use the email and password that you set up during registration. And if you forget your password, we do have a forgot your password link here. You'll fill in the email you used during registration and be able to reset your password very quickly, so you'll be on your way to faster closings. At the bottom of each screen, you're going to see links. Our first link is our What's New. Our What's New will be updated every time we have an update release for the software. You'll be able to view what we've updated, if something wasn't working properly, or any new features that were added that week. We have a Contact Us link here. So if you need to contact any of the departments here at Easysoft, you'll be able to reach us at our 800 number. We have a feedback link as well. This is really important to us. We like to keep in touch with our clients. If you have any suggestions for the software or something else you'd like to see added, you can fill out our form and submit it. This will go right to our product manager, who can discuss the feature with our development team. When you click on our support link, this will bring you to our knowledge articles. You'll be able to access our articles that are updated daily. We have our live chat as well. That's available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, we have our feedback link, and you can also open a support case from this page as well. Once you log in, you're going to be brought to your home screen. On your home screen are going to be all of your active closings that you have worked on and created in the software. At the top, you'll see the home button. This will always bring you back to this page, and every page in our software has the access to the home. We have a profile option in the upper right. You'll be able to click on that and access your account information. If you need to ever change your password, you'll be able to do it from this screen in here. The next two tabs are very important. You'll want to make sure that you fill in the firm information and your settlement agent information. This will save you time, and you will not need to do any double entry within the closings. This information will automatically fill in. We do have a bank integration with Rhino. This is a third-party vendor, and you'll be able to set up an account through them. They offer the three-way reconciliation, real-time banking, and fraud protection. We are also integrated with InfoTrack. You can e-file your 1099s very quickly through their site. You will need to sign up with them. It's free to sign up, and they'll charge you $10 per closing. We've added a Dropbox integration. If you utilize Dropbox, you'll be able to connect that right to Easysoft Online. And anytime you print out a CD or a HUD, a copy of that will be added into your Dropbox. Under the Tools menu, you'll see the address book and the import. Within the address book, you'll be able to add your new contacts in, and you'll also be able to choose a category for that contact. Once you've added in your contacts, you will be able to access the address book within a closing and choose that contact for accordingly. We do have an import option here. This is for any of our clients that use our desktop or cloud platforms and utilized the CD or the HUD there. You can import your HUD or your CD through this import link, and you'll be able to review any of the information you've already done with that closing. On the home screen, you'll have a few options at the top. You'll be able to choose all closings or my closings. This is if you have multiple users in your firm. All closings is going to show all of the staff that are creating the closings within the software. If you just want to view your own closings, you'll toggle to My Closings and you'll see what you're working on. You'll also be able to do a search. And for instance, we'll search Fred. So that'll pull up my closing with Fred Stevenson on it. And I'll be able to access a little faster than searching through the list. You will also be able to sort by file number, borrower, seller. You can sort by type, and you can also sort by the loan ID number. Any of these you'll be able to search as well. So your file number, borrower, seller, and loan ID can be used in the search box as well. We did add a feature in to delete closings. So if you need to delete a closing that doesn't need to be in your active closings, you can use the trash can to the right, click OK, and it'll be removed from your active closings list. If for some reason that was incorrect, your closings don't disappear, they're just hidden. So you'll be able to click the box to show deleted closings. You'll be able to recycle it right back to your active closings list, and it'll show right back up. If you try to delete another user's closing, the software will not allow you. You're going to get a permission pop-up. Only the user that created the closing has permission to delete it. So you would need to log in as that user to delete the closing they've created under that email. At the bottom, you have the option to show as few as 25 closings and all the way up to all your closings at your discretion. When you need to create your new CD or your HUD, you'll be able to click on the New Closings button in the upper right. And you'll also see that there's a template option here. This template option is for anyone that used our desktop or cloud that may have utilized the templates and had pre-filled information into the closings. Otherwise, you'll need to start a new CD or a new HUD separately. Once you're in your closing, you'll see at the top, as I noted earlier, you'll have your home button. You have access to the closing information. So if you'd like to start here and fill in the buyer information, seller, property, other attorney information, you'll be able to fill in everything in one spot. You'll also see that the firm information auto-filled from the account information that I showed you under the profile. Anything that corresponds to a field within the CD will already be filled in. There will be no double entry. For instance, the borrower, the seller, or the lender. We do offer the tax proration. This is at the top of the screen. You'll see that we have the city, the county, assessment, school, and sewer options. You'll be able to choose your tax period accordingly and enter in the start date of tax and the closing date. You'll be able to enter the amount due for the above tax and if any amount paid by seller. We do give you the option to include the closing date. This is defaulted as checked, but you can uncheck it. Once you've entered all the information in on one tab, you'll want to click Apply prior to heading over to another tab to fill in that information there. Once you've completed all the tabs that you have information for, you'll just click Apply and then close it out, and it'll fill in into the CD. We do offer the title services option here. You'll be able to access First National Fidelity if you'd like to order a closing protection letter. On page 1 of your closing disclosure, you'll see that we have our closing information at the top. You'll be able to enter in any dates appropriate to this closing, the property information, And we have the field here for your sale price, appraised, or estimated property value. The second section is your transaction information. You'll be able to enter in the borrower, and you will have the option to add additional borrowers if applicable. Once you're adding in a new contact, you do have access to the address book, as I mentioned earlier. You'll be able to click on the radio button and then select. If this is a new contact and you'd like to add them into your address book for future closings, you'll be able to enter in all of the information here and check the box down on the lower left, Add to Address Book. Upon saving, that new contact will be in your address book. Your loan information is over to the right. You'll be able to enter your loan terms in years and months. We do offer the loan purpose. You'll have purchase, refinance, construction, and home equity loan. If you choose one of the bottom three, refinance, construction, or home equity loan, you'll see a different page 3. You'll have the payoffs and payments page. So you'll know that this is something other than a purchase. Marking it back to purchase will give you a cash to close page, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. The next section down are your loan terms. You'll be able to enter in your loan amount, your interest rate, your principal and interest. You have the drop down for your weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, monthly, quarterly, and annual here. You can mark it as with a prepayment penalty. If you have it marked yes, you will have the fields over to the right. I'll show you right here. These fields will pop right open for you. And you can also enter in balloon payments. Your projected payment section will allow you to mark the final balloon payment under the payment period where it falls. You'll also have an option for a range of payments. The range of payments will pop open the minimum and maximum fields for you to fill in. You can enter in the mortgage insurance, your estimated escrow, and the estimated total payment, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, monthly, quarterly, and annual. Below that, you have your estimated taxes, insurance, and assessments. And then for your property taxes, homeowners insurance, and any other fees, for example, a homeowners association dues, you can mark if they're included in estimate and in escrow. The bottom of the screen is going to continue calculating your closing costs and your cash to close. You'll see that you cannot fill in any information within the grayed out fields because these are calculating from the fields that have already been filled in within the closing. If you feel that something's incorrect, you will need to go back and double check all of the values you've already entered. We do offer you the option to toggle between pages at the top and the bottom of the closing. This will save you time, and also the save button is at the top and the bottom as well. On page 2, you'll be able to access the loan costs. We did add in the option with the accordion style, so your page is easier to scroll through. You'll see the origination charges, services borrower did not shop for, and services borrower did shop for. You'll be able to enter in any of the charges under each of those sections and mark in the specific column the value appropriate for the borrower paid, seller paid, or paid by others. You'll note the first two columns are for the borrower paid at closing or before closing. Seller paid comes after that, at or before closing, and then paid by others. You'll also see over to the right, the field is calculating according to the numbers you've already entered. The same exists here under the services borrower did not shop for. And once you've entered in all of the information, the total of these three will show down in section D. Next, we have our other costs. You'll be able to access the taxes and other government fees. We do have the option to choose your jurisdiction depending upon the state that you're in. And in some states, you do have the options for your counties or your towns. Once you choose your jurisdiction, your transfer taxes and recording charges box is going to open. You'll be able to enter in any other information. And then on the bottom right, you'll be able to hit save. You are going to get a warning. Recording charges and transfer taxes in Section E will be updated. Do you want to continue? This will recalculate anything you've already entered in. You have your section for prepaids, and you can enter in the homeowner's insurance premium, the mortgage insurance premium, any prepaid interest, and the property taxes in this section. You have Section G, initial escrow payment at closing. Again, homeowner's insurance, mortgage insurance, and property taxes. You'll be able to enter in the dollar amount per month and the number of months that they are paying for. This will calculate automatically for you, so you don't have to calculate on your own. We do have Section H for other. So, for example, you have real estate commission, review of stock and lease, review of documents. You'll be able to enter in anything in these fields. Any of the fields that I've already showed you are free text fields, so you can type in them, but we also offer some drop downs. So I just chose the letter A, and it's going to show me some of the autofills that we have available for you to save you some time from typing in. Once you've filled in both of the sections, you're going to see them totaled at the bottom in Section J. Again, these fields are not editable. You will need to review your numbers if something doesn't seem correct. On page 3, you'll be able to access the cash to close. This is going to calculate as you go through, so we'll scroll right by that, and we're going to start at summaries of transactions. Some of these fields, as you can see, are automatically filled in from what we've entered in on pages 1 and 2. You will still be able to enter in any of your adjustments for items paid by seller in advance, your deposit, any seller credits or other credits, adjustments for items unpaid by seller, and then at the bottom, this is going to total for you. Your cash to close will show at the bottom of page 3, and as you enter in these values, it will also update on page 1. Once you have entered everything in, you'll be able to scroll back to the top, and you'll see that the cash to close matches what's on the bottom of the page. You do have the option over here to mark if this has changed since the estimate or from the final payment, and you can make your notes accordingly. On page 4, you'll have the options to choose your loan disclosures, your assumption, demand feature, late payment, negative amortization, and any partial payments, and of course your security interest. In the right-hand column, you'll have your escrow account. You can enter all of that information in. And then below that section, you'll have your adjustable payment table and the adjustable interest rate error table. On page 5, your loan calculations are going to populate according to what you've already entered in on pages 1 through 3. Your total of payments, your finance charge, your amount financed, and your total interest percentage. Your APR needs to be entered in manually. This is not going to calculate from any other field in the software. Over to the right, you'll see the other disclosures, your appraisal or your liability after foreclosure. And then below that is your contact information that you've filled in, whether it was in the closing information or from page 1. If there's something that's missing, you do have the option to edit on the screen, and it'll fill in accordingly with any fields throughout the rest of the file. Please note that at the bottom of page 5, you have your Consumers Confirm Receipt Signature section that can print, your Seller Signature Addendum, and your Interested Party Signature Addendum checkboxes. If you need any of these to print, you will need to come to page 5 and check the box. Once you've completed your closing, you'll be able to print it out. You'll be able to print to a PDF or to Microsoft Word. We do offer you standard, seller, and the buyer CDs, as well as the ALTA statements. So for example, I'll show you your ALTA settlement statement. You'll be able to print that out, and this pre-fills from everything that you've already entered in within the closing. We do offer you a ledger within this closing. You're going to see, once you go to the ledger page, your transaction summaries, your deposits and payments, and they should match. If for some reason they're not matching or they're not populating, you'll want to click on the button that says Re-import Ledger. Re-importing is going to bring in all of the information that you've already entered in within the CD. You'll have the option to add additional transactions, and you can mark it as a payment, a deposit, and even check the box if it's a wire payment. Enter in the payee information with the address and a memo that you would like to print on the check, if any. We do give you the option to print out checks as well. Once you go into print your checks, you're going to be able to enter in your starting check number and choose your check style. We have the standard 3 checks or your check and 2 stubs. We also give you the option for the output information of PDF or Microsoft Word. Once you download these, you'll be able to print them out, and the ledger is going to update with the reference number from your starting check number in order of the checks that you've printed. If you also mark this as a wire, you will have a new checkbox here as well. We also give you the option to combine checks if you need to make one check for a specific realty group. Once you click on combine checks, it's going to give you the total of any of the checks you've already chosen in the left-hand column. You'll be able to fill in any information, the street address, and if you need to print a memo out onto your checks. We do give you the option to split checks as well. So if I were to choose one check and I needed to split it into 2 checks for $50, I'll be able to edit it, make that $50. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to add my next $50 in. I can enter in any information accordingly and then click OK. Once I'm done with that, I can hit save, and it's going to split my check out. You will be able to edit from the right-hand column as well if you need to change anything within that specific transaction or update the memo. Once you've done all of your check printing, and if you've added any transactions in, you'll want to make sure that you're careful not to re-import the ledger. If you noticed before, I did get a pop-up with the ledger. If you continue, any changes made in the ledger will be lost and the original CD file data will be imported. So anything that was already changed, so I split a checkout, I'm going to re-import my ledger, And now I have one check for $100 right here. It's going to overwrite anything that you've already changed. Once you've completed all of that, you will have the option to print out a ledger statement. The ledger statement is going to show you all of your deposits and your payments. And at the bottom, you'll have signature lines for the buyers. We do give you the option to export your ledger out. If you utilize Cosmolex for trust accounting, this export matches their requirements to import for their services. You do have the option to sign into Rhino on this screen. Their website is password protected, so you will be brought to log into their site to continue with any of your banking. You'll have the 1099-S tab at the top, and as soon as your closing is completed, you'll be able to submit your 1099 right to InfoTrack. Once you click the 1099-S button, you're going to be brought in to the screen to fill in any information that hasn't already been populated in the closing. So anything with an asterisk will need to be filled in prior to submitting. You do have the option to print a substitute form or an exemption form free of charge. The fee at the bottom of $10 is letting you know once you submit, your credit card will be charged $10 by InfoTrack. InfoTrack also offers title search, so you'll be able to go in and choose your product comparison accordingly. But please note these fees vary and you will need to check with InfoTrack on the cost. If we were to go into a HUD, you'll see that the setup is the same. At the top, you have your home button, the closing information, your tax proration, and the print box. We do offer you the 3-page HUD. On page 1, you'll be able to fill in all of the information for that cash closing, your type of loan, the borrower, seller, and lender information, your property location. Your settlement agent information will fill in if you have it filled in under your profile. Then we have sections 100 through 600 on page 1, starting with your summary of borrower's transaction and summary of the seller's transaction. You'll be able to fill in all the information for that HUD closing, and at the bottom, this will calculate according to the values that you've entered. On page 2, you'll have your settlement charges. You'll be able to enter in the total real estate broker's fees, the items payable in connection with the loan, items required by lender to be paid in advance, reserves deposited with lender, your title charges, the government and recording transfer charges, just like we saw in the closing disclosure, and you'll have the list for your jurisdiction. Section 1300, additional settlement charges, and then at the bottom, this will calculate for you. On page 3, we do offer the good faith estimate. You'll be able to enter in the charges that cannot increase, charges that in total cannot increase more than 10%, charges that can change, and then at the bottom, you'll see the loan terms, and you can mark any of these questions no to yes, and you'll get the fields populating for that section. You'll also see that you have the ledger, the 1099-S, and the title search tabs as well. So you'll be able to utilize those features in the HUD. We do offer the 3-page HUD, which we've marked as standard, your buyer only, your seller only, and without total. We also have offered the 2-page HUD, and this will not print your good faith estimate from page 3. That'll skip right over that and give you your 2 pages. I know this webinar went pretty quickly, so if you have any further questions, please reach out to us at our 800 number, and you can reach any department here at Easysoft. Thank you for joining me in our first series of educational webinars.